Hello, get ready for story time, fun folks, and we're live over here. Hello, and welcome to Spooky Story Time, brought to you by Black Cat Comics in Rockin' Milpitas, your one-stop shop for all things superhero. Shop online at black-cat-comics.com. This is part 2 of the annual Spooktacular. We just wrapped up Kazi's Classics, a special Halloween edition of Kazi's Classics. Go to black-cat-comics.com, click on shop, click on Kazi's Classics, and if there are any books left, then you'll see some of the things that we talked about.
There are a few books left.
And that was a ton of fun. This part of the show, as I said, is Spooky Story Time. Francie and I have some stories we're going to share. And
Original.
If you have stories to share, you're welcome to join us.
If you'd like to share your stories, we have a Zoom link that you can join. That way you can do it and broadcast it to the world. So that's on the Facebook page if you want to check out that Zoom link. And for those of you on YouTube, I will get it to you. I will look it up and get it to you right now.
And just a couple other things. You've got about 24 to 28 hours left to take advantage of a couple of creepy crawly bits of awesomeness we've got going on for you.
Yes.
Number one is the Horror 20 code sale. Again, go to black-cat-comics.com. Click on shop, and we have a whole horror section for you, packed with all kinds of fun stuff for every sort of age and interest. I particularly recommend the Tales from Vader's Castle books. But anywho, anything labeled as horror is 20% off when you enter the Horror 20 code at checkout. That runs through tomorrow, Halloween, so take advantage of that and get some creepy crawly cool stuff. And the Kickstarter program for Black Cat Chronicles again wraps up midnight Halloween, so you've got about 24 to 27 hours left to participate in the launch of Black Cat Chronicles and our first issue, Greyfriars Cemetery.
So excited. So excited to get that done.
Yes.
Script is done, polished. It's over to the artist who's working on it diligently as we speak. What's up, Marco?
So that's a ton of fun. We're super excited about that. So as I say, here at Black Cat Comics, of course, we do the heck out of Halloween.
Come on.
And let's face it, doesn't get any scarier than 2020. Halloween Comic Fest doesn't get any scarier than 2020. So thank you for joining us. And sit back, relax, and enjoy some creepy, crawly tales of terror.
Tales of terror. Do you want to start?
Do I want to start? Okay, I can start. I've got a couple of things. So I've got kind of a light warm-up, and then the long one or the short one?
I don't know.
I'll go with the short one. Like I say, this is just a light, fun one to get it started.
Kick us off.
And to kick us off. So, again, thank you for joining us. Here we go. This is a story by me. Until that day, I didn't believe any of this. You know, aliens, spaceships, and whatever. I've seen just as much crazy stuff as anyone else, but I always thought that was mutants, mad scientists, or just stories to sell the news. These guys really didn't come from outer space, right? Well, I was wrong, and now I know better. You might think this kind of thing happens to people from Metropolis all the time, and maybe you're right. But just because you're from a place where things happen doesn't mean they happen to you. It's a big city, you know? You don't expect to get caught in the middle of one of Superman's epic battles on the way home from work. I guess that's the second way I was wrong. I didn't know what a boom tube was. If I had, I would have moved to some crappy town like Smallville and never left the house. I didn't know that 1 minute you could be stuck in traffic and the next a giant ball of light could open in the sky and suck you in and spit you out on some godforsaken hellhole planet. If I did, I would have eaten 1,000 radioactive spiders or done whatever else I had to do to get superpowers so I could do a better job of fighting for my life against these hideous armored flying monkeys. Superman never told us that his very existence was putting us all in danger. Superman never told us there was a monster named Darkseid who wanted to destroy all of existence. Superman never told us that this Darkseid guy had his own planet where he liked to take people and watch them suffer thousands of agonizing tortures. No, Superman never told us any of these things. He let us feel safe. He let us think we were cared for. Now here I am, living in filth, scavenging for anything edible, hiding from the constantly swarming armies of monsters trying to enslave me, eat me, or worse. All I can do now is stay alive and hope to one day be saved by the very man who put me here. Every day I look up in the sky, but there are no birds, no planes, no Superman. Here there is only dark side, and fear.
Nicely done, Mr. Kazi. That was awesome sauce.
There you go. That's the first spooky story of the night.
Really hard to follow that. Or you've got someone who's trying to get on Zoom, so I'm going to give them just a second to try to catch up there. And in the interim, I guess I could do my story.
Is it time for your creepy crawly tale of terror?
I'll try to do it justice. Okay, you guys ready? Got some hot cocoa? Dim the lights a little? Good. Thanks, Mice. Okay, here we go. Are ghosts real? Are there really ghouls and goblins lurking in the dark recesses of our minds? Or are they just figments of our imagination? Hi, Mice. Take, for instance, the legend of the Chupacabra. This roaming dog-like goat sucker has been seen ravaging livestock for decades. But what is it? Where did it come from? Let's listen in to the tale told by grandfather of the true origin of the Chupacabra. Grandfather. Gather close, niños. Let me tell you the story my grandfather told me of the legend of the Chupacabra. Many centuries ago, when the earth was still covered in ice, food and shelter were scarce. Animals had to adapt and adjust to the world or perish beneath the weight of it. One day, a lowly wolf was on its last dying breath, unable to find any food. He wandered into an ice cave, resigned to his fate. As he prepared to take his last breath, he heard the flapping of wings above him. As he raised his head with great effort, he saw a gigantic, leathery bat swooping down towards him. The wolf, too weak to fight him off, simply showed his teeth with a low growl. Do not bare your teeth to me, great wolf, for it is of no use. I smell death upon you. You have not long to live. And the wolf raised his head and with the snarl replied, Well, I'm not dead yet, you foul thing. Leave me to die in peace. Then you can have your feast. Bat. You mistake me for an enemy. I come to you as a friend. I believe we can help each other. Wolf. I have nothing left to give. I have not eaten in 4 moons and cannot survive another day. Bat. That is where you are wrong, my friend, for I can gift you life eternal, where you will only need one thing to sustain you. Wolf. What do you mean? Bat. Blood. Wolf. You are absurd, and I must be imagining things. Bat. Oh no, I'm quite serious. I can grant you life eternal, or all you need is a few drops of blood to sustain you for 400 moons. Wolf. It is not possible. What do you seek for this thing you are asking? Bat. Warmth. For I am a cold-blooded creature. I can no longer sustain my life energy in this cold world. I soon will also perish, without the means to sustain my internal warmth. You, great wolf, have a thick coat of fur and warm blood to keep you from becoming like the ice itself. I simply have these leathery wings and no fur to keep me warm. Wolf. So what are you proposing? Bat. I become you. You become me. A merge between the wolf and bat. An ability to combine our life forces so that we are both better suited to survive this frigid world. The wolf ponders the bat's proposal. Will he accept it? Or will he perish in the cold of the cave? Come morning, neither bat nor wolf left the cave, for the bat and wolf were never seen again. Instead, a smaller, leathery creature that was not quite wolf and not quite bat left the cave, taking in the cool morning air as if breathing for the very first time. Children. Whoa, abuelo! Young daughter. That's crazy. Is that how the chupacabra came to be? Grandfather. What do you think, children? Little girl. Yes, the chupacabra, the chupacabra. Older boy. Nah, that can't be. That's just an old fairy tale. Grandfather. No? Well, tell me this then. What comes but once a year and kills our livestock, taking only a few drops of blood, leaving the corpse? What predator is big enough to kill a deer and yet does not need its meat, only its blood? And with that, the children are silenced as they take in the true legend of the chupacabra. The end. And in my black cat storybook that I write in.
Awesome. That was super cool. Super creepy.
Mice, do you want to join us? Do you have a story that you'd like to share? Yes. Okay, good. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Let me unmute you there.
Yeah. It's Spider-Man Noir.
That's right.
Awesome. YouTube folks, you won't be able to see this, but you can watch him later.
Awesome sauce.
You should be able to hear him.
Awesome sauce. Can we hear you?
I can't actually read with this font.
Gonna spoil the
sorry.
element, but that was really cool.
I'm sorry.
It's kind of fun once you take the goggles off. Then you're Batman Year One.
Yeah. Actually, the whole thing was my oldest's idea, Noir. I'm like, yes. So anyway, so yes, I have something to read.
Please.
And I guess I should just get into it right now.
Go for it. And
not
make
really
sure
sure what
you
to
speak
call it.
loud so we can get it.
Okay. So I'm not really sure what to call it, but right now I'm calling it At Night. I have been running at night. I've found it to be very relaxing after a stressful day. I tend to live in my head so much, and running allows me to reconnect with my body. The sound of my breath, the pounding of my heartbeat, the sound of my sneakers on the pavement. I'm always doubting myself and suffering from imposter syndrome. I feel like such a failure all the time. When I'm running, I feel like the negativity can't keep up. I'm just running, and there's no time for dark thoughts or introspection. You know how when you're alone with just your thoughts and you're trying to sleep and everything you never wanted to do and say, but you did, goes coursing through your brain like it was blood keeping you alive? I am here to say that the self-hate doesn't keep you alive. It just weighs you down. I prefer to feel free, like the Eagles or the Swainson's Hawks. I doubt very much they are second-guessing the mice and rats they scoop up and eat whole. I used to go running by the cemetery for a while. I thought maybe the fear of imaginary zombies would get me to run faster. Kind of silly, really. The dead, in my experience, tend to stay dead. We have all sorts of folklore and stories about the dead coming back to life to eat your brains or some nonsense. Maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe like Sarah Winchester, we have lost everyone we truly love in the world, so we turn to mediums and mystics to give us some solace. Some hope that we can communicate with our loved ones who have passed beyond the veil. I don't fault anyone for wanting to connect to their dearly departed. That's how people are. We allow them into our hearts and minds, and really one of three things can happen. You break up and decide that your heart was wrong and the person was cruel or cold or hard or soft, or everything that you loved about them slowly becomes unbearable torture. 2, you stay together and they die before you, or they lose their mind so that they don't even recognize you. Or 3, the best option, at least for you, is that you go first and leave them to cry themselves to sleep at night. When they or you go, it is only right that you should remember them fondly and all the good times you used to have. Why shouldn't you want to talk to them and ask them how heaven or Pure Land or Nirvana or Götterdämmerung is? I mean, isn't that the question we've all been trying to answer this whole time? What if it was a phone call away? Hey, Joey, how are you? I miss you since you've been dead for 4 years. What's that you say? There's nothing in the afterlife after all? Then how am I talking to you? Huh? I've gone mad and I'm talking to a dead telephone? Damn it. Where was I? Oh yeah, when I'm running, I feel liberated. No, not liberal, not like a libertine, liberated, free as a bird. No, not like the Beatles song mixed after John Lennon had passed with the help of Jeff Lynne of ELO, but actually free, unbound, unchained, not locked up in some huge cage with a feeder and a bell and a mirror that you peck at because you think that your reflection is another bird. I'm grateful that I can still escape my cage with COVID and the fires and the world beginning to end or coming to an end or whatever it is we are in the middle of now. I love to escape and fly the coop and spread my huge feathery wings and soar over everything like an enormous bird of prey with my 23-foot wingspan. I need to run to get going, but flying is a whole different thing. I cross the moon's disk as I fly through the night sky looking for prey.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well done. You had me
Thank
going
you.
there.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank
Awesome stuff.
I love how creative our folks are. It's amazing.
I like how you get chuckles out of a story about death. That's you're going along and it's really dark, and then you, like I say, you got those laughs right at the right times. Good stuff.
Do you want to do your second one?
I can do another one if you like. Anybody else in the queue before I cut them off?
Great job, Mice.
Excellent, Mice. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
So
we really
awesome.
appreciate that. Shall I do another one?
Go for it.
All right. I've got another one here. Mice, I think you've heard this one, so I hope you like it again. He's cold. Mustafar is an entire planet of erupting volcanoes, and yet, even here, in the depths of his own castle fortress, he's cold. Ever since his remains awoke in a prison of metal and leather, with its pumping, wheezing apparatus constantly engulfing him with freezing, breathable air, he has felt nothing but cold. Existence inside the armor is cold. His iron and stone castle is cold. His TIE fighter is cold. His Star Destroyer, the Executor, is cold. The space station, the Emperor's technological terror, which has come to be known as Death Star, is cold. And his heart, that piece of meat pulled, inflated, and crushed by the apparatus of his armor prison, is cold. Since the death of his beloved Padma, apparently by his own hand, and the subsequent subjugation of his very soul by his master Darth Sidious, Vader's heart has been as cold, barren, and remote as the Hoth system. He remembers what it was like to feel something besides cold. Still in possession of the memories that belonged to Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader remembers warmth. He remembers the hot desert sands of Tatooine, where he was enslaved as a child. He remembers the heat from the engines of pod racers. He remembers the sensation from burning the tips of his fingers while welding a new part onto C-3PO, back when he had fingertips to burn. He remembers getting hot and sweaty as he ran, jumped, and fought during his Jedi training as a Padawan on Coruscant. He remembers the first time he felt a warm kyber crystal as he put it into the handle of his first lightsaber. And he remembers the warmth of Naboo. He remembers holding the warm hand of its queen, Padme Amidala, and feeling the warm breeze blowing across their faces as they walked in the sun. He remembers the warm waters of the lakes where they swam, and he remembers the warmth of their bodies as they lie together by the fireplace in her private quarters. But the memories of Anakin Skywalker pour over the shards of Vader's soul the way the oxygen in his armor prison pours over the shards of his body. The memories remind him that the name Anakin Skywalker has no meaning to him anymore. Nothing remains of his previous life. The Sith is his life now. All he has left is the cold. Padme is gone, and no amount of mastery over the dark side of the Force is going to bring her back. He will never again touch her warm cheek. He will never again feel the warmth that rises in his chest when they kissed, and he will never again see the fire in her eyes. From now until he meets his destiny, Vader will know only cold and hate. Hate for the Jedi Order, who disfigured and nearly murdered the Emperor. Hate for his former master, Obi-Wan, who mutilated Anakin and left him for dead. One day he will meet Kenobi again, and on that day, Vader will finally have his revenge. He has searched his feelings. He knows this to be true. Until that day, he will continue his mission. He will hunt down the princess from Alderaan and all of her rebel scum. He will execute her and every enemy of his master, and he will finally bring order and peace to the galaxy, like Anakin and Padme had always dreamed. And perhaps on that day, he will finally join his beloved in the eternal cold of death.
Nice. That's so awesome. Well done. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
I find nothing creepier or more scary than Darth Vader. He's been scaring me since I was 6, and he still scares me, even after the prequels.
Yeah. Yes. What do you guys think? You guys want one more? Do you have anything else? Let them know same time. Awesome.
Thank you, Mice.
Who's up for one more?
I'm up for one more.
We got a little time. Again, Mice, this is not from last year, but it's from 2 years ago. So you may remember it, you might not. Okay. Geez, what could be taking so long? It's so damn hot in here, I'm sticking to the vinyl seats. I guess there could be worse jobs. Nikki has to babysit the kid. I'd rather be doing anything but watching that freak of nature, Solly thought to himself. God, come on, Nina, get your stuff and let's go. I'm creating my own personal storm in this caddy. Pretty soon clouds will form with all the humidity trapped in here. Sorry, Solly. Madame Laveau can't be rushed. Nina pulled out her burlap sack. She gave me all we need to put the fix on Vinny. A chicken foot, a red candle, a cigar, and this statue of some voodoo god guy. We're also going to need to stop and get some black rum. If we do this ritual to this voodoo doll guy and give him what he likes, then we can ask him to do us a solid, said Nina. Nina, that crap sounds crazy. You expect me to believe that's going to fix Vinny for good? Asked Solly. Well, maybe not for good, Nina hesitated, but it'll get him off our tail. Madame Laveau says he'll forget all about you and me, and we can start our new life together. Solly let out a humph and started up the car. As the pair drive off into the darkness, a black cat crosses their path. Look out, Solly! Screamed Nina. The car tail spins and comes to an abrupt stop. Geez, where'd that guy come from? That was close, said Solly. As the black cat makes it onto the other side of the street, it looks back at the car and casually licks its paw. The Cadillac glides down tree-lined streets, weaving in and out of neighborhoods until it reaches its destination. The creaky gates of La Cimetière du Marais glisten in the thick heat of the bayou. Solly uses all his strength to pull the gates from their resting state. His enormous size is only rivaled by his immense strength. They coast the Cadillac through the gates and up to the center of the cemetery. A statue of a forlorn girl holding two saucers in either hand greets them as they park their car. Okay, this is the place Madame told me about, said Nina. She brings out the sack and places it on one of the plates held by the girl statue. Nina carefully lays out all the ingredients from the sack on the opposite plate. She pulls out her instructions and calls out her checklist. We got a red candle, check. Chicken foot, check. Cigar, check. Little voodoo guy, check. Rum. Oh crap, Solly, we forgot the black rum. Never fear, little miss. Let me see what I've got in my travel kit. Solly returns to the Cadillac and rummages through the trunk. All the while, Nina lays out the contents of her sack and reads and rereads the instructions from Madame Laveau. Lost in concentration, Nina doesn't hear Solly approaching from behind and jumps when she hears the sound of bottles clinking on the statue's base. Well, I don't have any black rum, but I had a half a bottle of bourbon and about a shot and a half of tequila left in this bottle, Solly said. That'll have to do, said Nina. I hope Papa Kundu likes bourbon. How picky can a dead guy be? We'll say it's black rum when we do the incantations. Okay, I think we have it all here, save for the final element, Vinny's hair. Nina reaches into her purse and pulls out an expensive-looking hairbrush. I stole his comb this morning, Nina said proudly. That dirtbag loves his freaking hair. Solly chuckles. That he does. That he does. With that, Nina takes a handful of hair and releases it from the comb bristles. She passes the cigar to Solly. Here, light this for me. Then she takes out her own lighter and lights the red candle. The flame sparks, then stands tall and still. After a few moments, she takes the candle wax and drips it into one of the statue's plates. Before the wax cools, she adds the hair and chicken's foot. Vinny, I'm no longer your girl. You'll have to find yourself a new punching bag. Nina's voice trembles. She places the statue of Papa Kundu in the center of the red wax and begins the incantation. Papa Kundu, we call on you here in La Cimetière du Marais to work your magic on Vincent Vinny Dupree, the leader of the Fire Snake Gang, the ruler of the Skull League, and my fiancé. We ask that you wipe his memory clean and make him forget we, Solly and I, were ever born. With this, she takes the cigar from Solly and blows smoke into the face of the Voodoo god. Then she takes sips from each bottle, swigs them together in her mouth, then spat on them onto the statue. As is your right, Papa Kundu, we make you an offering of the finest cigars this side of the Mississippi and a drink of black. Before she speaks the last word, a set of headlights appears, casting a shadow over the offering. Solly tenses, fearing, knowing what was coming next. A large, dark figure greets him in the shadows. Well, 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 if it isn't Saul Grundy with my own beloved Nina. Now, what brings you two here in a night like this? Heckles Vinny. His voice is a high-pitched squeal. As Vinny approaches, his eyes survey the haphazard altar. Doing a little voodoo, are we? Under a full moon in the center of Le Cimetière du Marie? Vinny eyes Nina. Cher, now what have you gone and got yourself into? It's over, Vinny. Me and Solly are in love. There's nothing you can do to stop us, cries Nina, her words a mixture of panic and self-doubt. Huh. Nothing, eh? Well, my dear, you forget. I know a little thing or two about voodoo. Vinny snaps his fingers, and two figures come out from the darkness, each grabbing one of Solly's arms. They begin by beating his solar plexus before Solly had time to clench his gut. The pain is excruciating, and Solly's breath leaves him. As he involuntarily doubles over, they place a burlap sack over his head, blinding him. Solly, as big as he was, struggles and fights off his aggressors, for his strength cannot be matched. But with the sack over his head, he doesn't see the sledgehammer raining down on him. 1 minute, he is fighting off his former colleagues, hearing Nina's screams in the background. The next minute, silence and darkness. In this darkness, a peace in the void of nothingness. There is no Solly in this place, no Nina, no Vinny, no Louisiana, nothing. All is still. This stillness lasts for an eternity. It lasts for minutes, for there is no time in this place, no measurement with which to base the passing of space, no thoughts, no emotions, no consciousness. It is the most gratifying of anything, the thing that is or once was Solly ever experiences. Then pain. An ice pick is pushing through the tissue, bone penetrating the skull and fishing around in the fleshy parts of the brain. Through the darkness, a bright white light of pain illuminates the shadows as Solly begins to return to his body. He instinctively grabs his head and realizes his hands are tied behind his back. He slowly, carefully opens one eye. The pain jumps to a new volume. Then he tries the other eye, which only opens halfway. He nearly passes out again. He cannot feel anything below his neck. Solly starts to hear muffles as his senses begin to wake once more. He hears low tones like a singing and smells cigar smoke and alcohol. As he begins to feel his body again, he realizes he is tied to a chair with a burlap sack still over his head. He strains to hear the voice of Nina, but all is silent save for the low tones of an incantation. Once it stops, he hears footsteps coming towards him. Remove the sack from his head, a voice says. That could have been Vinny, save for a growly, inhuman undertone. Solly lifts his head to stare at the face of a man possessed. The body in front of him is Vinny's body, but Vinny is not behind those eyes. No, those eyes belong to something else, something old, terrifying, and yes, evil. Solly, for the first time since he reached his full size, is scared. Now I'm going to do to you what you wanted to do to me. I'll make you forget Solomon Grundy. I'll make you forget you were ever born. I'll make you forget Nina, me, the boys, and everyone you've ever met in your entire life. Except I'll leave you this little trinket. I'll leave you with an empty heart, one that craves for a love lost, but with no memory of that love. That, my friend, will be your punishment for what you did here tonight. Before Solly could speak a word, the thing that was Vinny blew a white powder into his face, then pushed Solly's chair and all into an open grave directly behind him. All Solly sees next is the dirt getting shoveled in on top of him in this makeshift grave. And then all went dark again. The end.
Dun, dun, dun. Ugh, that's creepy. Poor Solly.
You know, I've never read an origin story of Solomon Grundy. Not one that I can remember, not one that stuck to me. So as a challenge to myself, I'm like, if I want to write an origin story for Solomon Grundy, what would it look like? And there you go. Now you know.
Love it.
I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed writing it, so I hope you enjoyed hearing it.
I enjoyed hearing it. I love Solomon Grundy. And I love origin stories, and that's a good one.
There's not enough. He's got such a good depth of character. He's very one-dimensional, but you can do so much with that. He's like a blank slate. You can do anything with him. So
awesome. Super fun, super creepy.
Funsies.
Anyone got a story out there? Got a story they're wanting to share? Want to jump in on the queue here?
They could be real stories. They could be haunted stories. They could be jokes.
Share a tale of scary adventure.
What have you?
Good times. Sorry we don't have the campfire this year. We usually do the thing in the back with the hay bales and the campfire and all that. But it's 2020. But we wanted to keep the tradition going, have some fun, do our spooktacular.
Thank you, Michael.
Give you all an opportunity to have some fun, listen to some creepy, crawly tales of terror.
Yes.
And enjoy my cool Mickey Franken-Ears hat.
Yes, yes. And hopefully there'll be more to come in Black Cat Chronicles and Black Cat Tales. That first story I read tonight is the first draft of the Black Cat Tales comic that we hope to do once the Black Cat Chronicles one is kicked off.
Once it explodes across the country and becomes red hot and goes to 9 printings. Yes, we're looking forward to 2021 as well. Super fun.
That's it. That's all we got.
Well, thanks for joining us, folks. Thanks for participating in the 666th annual Black Cat Comics Spooktacular.
That's false. False.
We had a ton of fun. We hope you had a ton of fun as well. Again, take advantage of that Horror 20 code while you can.
Yep.
If you're so inclined, go to Kickstarter.com and check out our program for the launch of Black Cat Chronicles.
Yes.
Let's see, Black Cat.
The horror code.
And I said horror code 20. Got the horror collection on the site. And check out Kazi's Classics, the special horror edition of Kazi's Classics that we did earlier this evening, and pick up a couple cool, creepy comics.
And we'll be back tomorrow at 2 to talk about this week's stuff.
Yes. So tomorrow, the actual Halloween day, make sure you tune back in 2 p.m. for Comic Shop Talk Live. And Sunday, 2 p.m. for Matchbox versus Hot Wheels.
Good times. Good times.
Good times. Because we're always trying to keep you infotained here at Black Cat Comics. So thanks for joining us. Happy Halloween. Stay safe. Stay sane. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Bye, guys.